News at 1. 10th National Assembly Leadership. President Tinubu sends congratulatory messages. Economic experts laud President Tinubu's policy on unified exchange rates. And FCT NSCDC Command parades alleged fraudsters. This is the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. I am Mariam George Jitubo. Glad to have you join us. The new leadership of the newly inaugurated 10th Assembly has visited President Bola Tinubu at the State House. Correspondent Musbah Hudan Wahab reports.
A few minutes after the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, the new leaders of the legislative arm made their way to the State House. First was the set of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and some of his colleagues. A brief but apparently a thank you visit to appreciate the support of the President. No words from Senator Akpabio, but some of his colleagues believe his emergence is the best for the Senate.
This emergency is for the stability of the country, is for national unity, is for inclusiveness, is for balancing.
We look forward to having a robust 10th Senate that will cooperate with the executive when the need arises.
Would bring all that have gotten through so many years of exposure to legislature. I'll bring that into play. I'll bring that into practice to make sure that we make the 10th Senate the most productive in history.
It is now time to get back to work. A lot of tough times ahead, and Nigerians expect us not to join them in lamenting, but to find solutions.
Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and his deputy Benjamin Kalu also made a similar visit.
Now, what do you tell Nigerians? Because already some people are afraid that the new National Assembly, it's talking about the 10th one, might be a rubber stamp in the hands of the executive, being that you already favor right from outset.
Well, if you talk about rubber stamp, look at the acceptance rate, those who have elected those across party lines. Almost all the whole entire PDP, SDP, ADC, and all other minority parties voted us. So if they felt that we are going to be rubber stamps, do you think they will elect us? No. They believe that we will safeguard the sanctity of the National Assembly, the legislature. We will always separate our independence, and will relate and be able to harmonize with the executive where necessary, but where there is a conflict of interest, where we feel that the executive is or wants to do something that is not against, is not in the interest of the public, they know that we'll stand up against that.
I have reason to believe that the people that have emerged ultimately are the choice of the legislators as elected by our people. And I believe they will do well. I believe they will represent the yearnings and aspirations of our people. And I believe they will take this as a trust and ensure that whatever they do it in promoting of the national unity and ensuring that government policies do not suffer.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has expressed readiness to transparently work with the National Assembly, saying Nigerians expect the legislators to make laws and carry out oversight duties that will enhance the performance of governments to achieve successful outcomes, including improving their quality of life. From the State House, Musbah Hudan Wahab, NT News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says the election of distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio and retired Honorable Tajuddin Abbas as the President of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 10th National Assembly is a good development. President Tinubu, while congratulating the new Deputy Senate President, Jibril Barrow, and House of Representatives Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu for their well-deserved victories, said being elected by their peers as presiding officers and assuming the leadership of the National Assembly is a great honor that comes with huge responsibility. He urged them to justify the confidence reposed by members and many Nigerians, while wishing Senator Abdul Aziz Yari and Honorable Member Idris Wase and Honorable Aminu Jaji, who enriched the process with their participation in the leadership election, the best and a successful tenure in the 10th National Assembly. President Tinubu urged them to sustain the same level of enthusiasm they brought to the leadership contest in the discharge of their duties to their constituents and Nigeria. The president congratulated all members of the National Assembly across party lines who enlisted into the service of the people, stating that it is a collective responsibility to diligently and faithfully serve our fatherland with the oath taken, and it is time to get on and move swiftly with the business of governance in the service of Nigeria. And now to democracy. June 12, 2023 will be the 5th time that Nigeria will significantly mark Democracy Day in honor of Chief MKO Abiola, adjudged as Hero of Democracy. It is also 24 years of unbroken democracy since the return of civil rule in 1999. How have we fared? Ifoma Ojinta puts this in perspective.
A country's democratic maturity can be assessed by the transparent manner in which elections are conducted, particularly if in accordance with the rule of law and in obedience to acceptable global practice. And since 1999, Nigeria can be said to have attained political stability, which is worthy of celebration.
Nigerians should congregate as far as we agree to practice democracy, as far as we agree to cherish the values of the June 12. We should really emulate the principles of universalism of unity.
MK Abiola have done his own, and to God be the glory, he left a mark on the sands of time in ensuring that we have a good leadership. So what we Nigerians should do is to encourage real people and ensure credibility and transparency in the process.
Acknowledging the significance of June 12 in the nation's history, many say there is need for the new administration to bring to fruition the manifesto of MKO Abiola, as well as recognize more heroes of democracy.
Bola Tinubu, as our current president, should really dust all the manifestos, all the blueprints, all the plans of actions of MKO Abiola and his own fellow comrades. He should dust them and really set up a technical committee to review it in line with the modern day reality for appropriate implementation for Nigeria to attain greatness and development and the progression democratically.
Analysts say with the success of yet another electioneering cycle and the emergence of Bola Tinubu as president, all Nigerians must come together to strengthen our democratic culture. Ifoma Ojinta, NTA News.
And for democracy to thrive, there is need for adherence to the rule of law and active participation of Nigerians, especially the youths, on democratic process. That was the standpoint of discussants during a conference in Kefi organized by Beyond Boundaries Legacy Leadership Initiative in collaboration with North Central Youth Alliance for Democracy to mark this year's Democracy Day. Mohammed Awalu has more.
A non-governmental organization which advocates for inclusive democratic governance.
There is need for us to leave behind the Nigeria that was built on mutual suspicion. At the end, we are all Nigerians tied up in a single garment of destiny.
Nation building is a building that will outlast all of us. And therefore what is important is to give our contributions so that in the future there are people that will also continue to support what we are doing.
Discussants at the conference were unanimous on the need for continuous nurturing of democratic process in Nigeria.
The youth are the future and the foundation of this country. And we saw the impact of the youth in this last election. The youth of Nigeria changed the narrative of elections in Nigeria forever in the last election. That means it's possible. That means, I think, in my opinion, we are growing because people are becoming more aware of their power and people are doing things the right way.
By the time you bring in policies as our leaders, they keep on bringing policies, and then the challenge we have is when you go into implementation, the president cannot be the person to follow implementation from point A to point Z. There are individuals within the government cycle or whatever cycle that are expected to move these policies from one point to the other.
The theme of the conference is Democracy in Nigeria, Echoes from the Past, Achievements in the Present, and Hope for the Future. From Kefi, Muhammad Awalu, NTA News.
We now shift attention to business. Economic experts have applauded the prompt intervention of the federal government in unifying the series of multiple exchange rate windows, which they said aided dishonest practices in the forex market. Serafina Okunmekwe has details of this report.
With the unification of exchange rates, forex market experts say the economy is expected to witness transparent commercial activities, even at the parallel market, and will aid diaspora remittances. Hence, the former channel is functionally effective.
For us to get this foreign exchange, we need to export. We will need to have goods to sell. Unfortunately, the major good that we have to sell is crude oil. So our agricultural exports, our manufacturing, they are not yet getting exposed substantially to increase it. And it is the amount of export process you have that will influence the value of your naira.
On the likely impacts the unified rate and subsidy removal, they noted that subsidy had cost the country trillions of naira. For instance, between January to June, Nigeria had budgeted 3.36 trillion naira.
So that's huge. And if we run subsidy to the end of 2023, we are likely to get as high as 7 trillion. Imagine what 7 trillion could do in education, in health, and other critical sectors. So I think it's time we got rid of fuel subsidy. But my position on it is, again, how should we do that? Just as we also, the case of unifying exchange rate. How should we unify exchange rates? My suggestion is that we don't adopt a one-step approach here. We should gradually do it to cause, minimal distortion, particularly to households and livelihoods. Okay. With respect to fuel subsidy removal, yes, I support it. But again, how do we do it? I don't also support the idea of yanking it off in one fell swoop. Okay. Even if we are not going to phase it, there should be an alternative. There should be a mechanism, a measure, okay, that will also enable, commercial vehicle drivers, for example, whether smart cards, system to obtain fuel at regulated prices in the interim. So there should be a stopgap measure in order to again reduce the impact.
When subsidy was withdrawn on gas, the so-called consumption fell by 50%. So we're expecting same here, and by the time we get the actual consumption, even the foreign exchange we are wasting will be conserved. Two, Dangote is here now. The government refineries are expected to come on stream. So by the time all these are on stream, all that substantial foreign exchange we are wasting on importing fuel will now be available for manufacturing and other businesses that genuinely need them and that will impact our economy.
Exporters, because of the differential, had before now refused to remit monies. And experts are hoping that with the unified exchange rates, foreign reserves will increase. Serafina Okunmekwe, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. Still to come on the news. FCT residents lament poor maintenance culture on road infrastructure. These and more in just a moment. Do stay. Glad to have you back. Students of College of Health, Science and Technology, KEFI, have been tasked to maximize the benefits of acquiring health and medical training for better opportunities. Provost of the college, Dr. Suleiman Mohammed Abdullahi, posed the challenge during the matriculation of 2022 and 2023 admitted students. Mohammed Awalu reports.
After the oath of allegiance, which was administered to the students by the registrar of the college, Salisu Njuma Musa, the provost, Dr. Suleiman Muhammad Abdullahi, reminded the matriculating students to maximize the opportunity of acquiring training and skills, which will groom them for a better future.
Our institution here is unlike conventional institution. It is a professional institution. When you come with your certificates, with your AAs, we ask you to keep it at the gate. We put you into class and examine you. If you are able to achieve the success, we give you the go-ahead.
The matriculants expressed their excitement.
Very happy today that I ate this day. This is the most happiest day of my life. I thank God, I'm happy.
As they bask in the euphoria of the moment, what remains is for them to settle down and acquire knowledge for self-esteem and humanity. From Kefi, Muhammad Awalu, NTA News.
In continuation of curbing thefts of national assets and critical infrastructure, the FCT Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has paraded some suspects alleged to be involved in theft and possession of solar panels at Giri in Abuja. Parading the suspects, FCT NSCDC boss Peter Maigari says the command commenced investigation on receiving the report and deployed officers of Intelligence Department. Safia Uchi tells us more.
10 suspects were paraded in possession of 160 solar panels, 16 pieces of Matrac battery panels, 15 pieces of Rita slime batteries. Others are
24 pieces of ZTE battery, 5 pieces of Hawaii battery, 2 pieces of Polarium battery, 1 piece of Sacred Sun battery.
FCT NSCDC boss Peter Megari says investigation is ongoing and the command is making frantic efforts to apprehend the syndicates who specialize in piracy, possession of stolen items, and unlawful distribution of such items.
Let them give us information and be rest assured that their information, even though the informants, their identities will be hidden from the criminals. Anyone who is found culpable of all this will face the consequences of the law.
Some of the suspects speak.
I was accused of purchasing stolen items from the IHS. The panels, I purchased them from Lagos and I have my invoice.
I was arrested at the office yesterday with my boss and some of my colleagues that they bought stolen goods. And when they asked me, truth be told, I was employed just a month ago. I told them I don't know anything.
Peter Megari says he appreciates the support they received from the former FCT minister and appeals for more support to enable them carry out their duties effectively. FCT NSCDC says the suspects will be charged to court after the conclusion of investigations. Safia Noma Uche, NTA News.
With celebrations still ongoing for the just concluded inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, on our regular program called The Police, a review of activities of the Nigerian police force during the inauguration exercise was discussed. Charity Zaka tells us more.
At events such as the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, the presence of security personnel, the Nigerian police is a necessity. But how well did it go with officers in controlling the crowd? Chief Superintendent of Police and Divisional Police Officer to the National Assembly, Alex Aneku, gives the answers.
When the Commissioner of Police, CP Haruna Garba, visited all the entry and exit points, what he directed immediately was for us to ensure there is proper verification. We barricaded those areas and restricted access to some selected gates, which was actually permitted by the National Assembly management. So ours was to ensure there was such. So we barricaded our entry points from the from the Eagle Square entry point of the National Assembly, And we left only two gates for people. So it was a collective effort. Sure. Our leaders supervised us, gave us the directive, and we complied, and everything worked.
For the hitch-free exercise, some Abuja residents during the program called in to commend the Nigerian police.
Divisional police officer there for a well-done job.
Thank you.
So I want to tell him they should keep it up. It's very good because we want all the Nigeria to be safe. And so that everybody will be happy.
Chief Superintendent Anagu further gave the assurance that the police are making headway in containing kidnapping in the territory. Charity Zaka, NTA News.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory have decried the deplorable state of some roads in the satellite towns and some parts of the city center. Rosemary Moltalem Bilal looks at Area 3 and Kubwa axis, where residents and motorists appeal to the relevant authorities to come to their aid.
Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria, fast growing to meet with other developing nations, a drive around the popular Area 3 junction, residents are calling for maintenance of the road in the city center. One of which is the Area 3 road linking Area 1 through the Upper Bridge roundabout. Residents who drive around this area from Area 10 through Area 8 express displeasure.
This road has been more than 10 years like that when government abandoned it. They did not do anything. They have constructed a bridge over there, but this particular one, we don't know whether it's a function of AMAC local government or federal government or still. So we are confused.
Not that they haven't awarded the contract, but sometimes they will award the contract, then the person in charge will just claim the money and go away.
Wait a minute, did we say city center? And have you visited some of the area councils to see the level of deplorable roads? Kubwa is one out of many. We took a drive from the popular federal housing through the Gado Nasco Road. Residents of these axes are really waiting for both the area council's intervention and the Federal Capital Territory Authority to help in fixing the road to ease free flow of traffic, as most of them do not wait for the traffic light directive but always beat the traffic.
This particular spot we are talking about, it's been like this for the past 7 years. If I can recollect very well, we've tried to make an arrangement to contact Buhari Area Council to see if we can partner with them to fix this spot.
Kubwa today in FCT is one of the largest satellite towns. And of course, the investment in Kubwa, the revenue in Kubwa cannot be overlooked by any administration. So that is why we are emphasizing that the FCT administration should buckle up and ensure the continuation of reconstruction of these roads in Kubwa.
Just want to appeal to them that this is the Federal Capital Territory. Charity begins at home. They should start from FCT here and from Kubwa here.
While pouring out their minds to the authorities, it is hoped that residents of the axis will soon have a sign of relief. One of the officials of the FCDA who spoke off camera said there are ongoing plans to patch some of the roads as soon as the rain subside. Rosemary Moltalem Bilal, NTA News.
It's now time for Sports Brief.
Napoli striker Victor Osimhen arrived in Nigeria to join his Super Eagles teammates at their AFCON qualifier camp in Lagos. His arrival brings the number of players in the Super Eagles Lagos camp to 22. Elsewhere, the 2023 Africa Super Cup is set to be played outside the shores of Africa following the information from CAF Secretariat. According to the update from the Africa Football Body, Saudi Arabia is set to stage the Super Cup and part of the deal has been agreed and signed. Still on football, 4 players represented the 2023 Nigeria Women's Football League champions Delta Queens in the Team of the Year selected by the league's committee. The team highlighted the best players from each position based on their performances during the 2022-2023 league season using a 4-4-2 flat information. In athletics, the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City, is the battleground today as athletes battle for tickets to be part of Team Nigeria to the 19th World Athletics Championship in Budapest, Hungary.
And before we go, here are some stories that made the bulletin. FCT and SCDC Command has paraded fraudsters' promises to sanitize the territory. New leadership of the 10th Assembly has visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And with that, we end the news at 1. Do join us at 7 for more news. Have a wonderful day.